Hey, so today I thought we would do a rig rundown, a little studio tour of my home studio here where I give online guitar lessons and record music and do my practicing as a hobbyist and a professional music teacher and recording artist. A lot to get through today. We're going to go through all my instruments, amps, my DAW, that's my digital audio workstation, mixers, keyboards, mouse even, picks, strings, all that stuff. And of course, my pedal board, which is down below me here. It all starts with, well, first of all, let me say, I woke up this morning to see that we surpassed 2,000 subscribers here on the YouTube channel, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for all the support here on YouTube. It means the world to me to get that kind of support, just doing what I love, sharing the knowledge of guitar, music theory, and the music of Fish, mostly. I do a lot of other stuff as well. But I really appreciate the support, and yeah, onward towards 3,000, I guess. And if you haven't yet, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. You can always sign up to my Patreon if you want to support me that way, or if you're interested in one-on-one Zoom guitar lessons, feel free to give me a call. So I thought we'd start with this beautiful guitar here. Now this guitar is an Equator standard by Equator Instruments, made by David Coleman. Please send David an email if you're interested in getting your very own Languedoc replica clone, whatever we call it nowadays. Now these are wonderful guitars, and if you can't afford the real thing, the Languedoc from Paul Languedoc, or the new company that makes them now, I highly suggest that you invest in one of these. And one of the reason I say that is not only do I love it, this guitar, but I've had several students use these guitars and they really enjoy them. I've had a student recently get to play an actual Languedoc, and he compared the Equator to about 65% the quality of an actual Languedoc. Now I have to say that's got to be pretty amazing. I've never played a Languedoc, but you can imagine the comparison. That's pretty wonderful. And you know, you weigh your options there of what you maybe are able to afford. 65% in quality to 10 or less percent of the actual cost of a current Languedoc. Equator Instruments, I think, are your go-to. Just to let you know, I am not sponsored or affiliated with any of the brands or companies or products today. This is just me showing you what I've accumulated over the years as a professional performer and now music teacher. So to describe this guitar a bit, it is a full hollow body guitar. Both pickups are Seymour Duncan 59s humbuckers. We've got a three-way switch here, which gives us the neck pickup. In the middle, both pickups, bridge pickup all the way down. Then we have volume knob, tone knob. I actually had my local luthier put in some kind of capacitor or something to where when you roll back the tone knob, a little bit of treble comes up as the volume goes down. So that's kind of fun. Little modification I had done. These little mini toggle switches, they're three ways as well. Up, middle, down. Up means full humbucker for the big jam band sound. Middle is single coil for like your Stratocaster sound. It does one of the coils. And then all the way down is back to humbucker, but around 80% the volume series. Yeah, series, single coil, parallel, I believe is the way that they are wired and what they're called. Same thing with the second mini toggle switch. That affects the bridge pickup. So you get a lot of combinations. You can have, you know, full humbucker on that one, wall, single coil. Obviously, they'd have to be on both pickups. This one in the middle. You can have both on single coil, just one on single coil to get the kind of Stratocaster tone, or all the way. Neck pickup was kind of my most common setting there for getting the jam band sound. Anyway, can't say enough nice things about this guitar. I really like the ohm symbol, the Equator Instruments brand symbol. I think that's what that is as well. But it's an ohm symbol, and I really dig it. It's just a lovely guitar. I I polish it near daily. I put it back in the case every time I'm done with it, and it's a lifer. I love it so much. Thank you, Dave, for making this wonderful guitar. All right, next up is the pedal board. I'm going to switch cameras here so you can see what I use for pedals. We're going to start with just the frequency and pitch pedals over on the far right side of my board. I use a wah pedal. I've scratched out the brand name of this pedal because I don't support that brand anymore for personal reasons. Now, the pedal, wah pedal, a lot of you know what it is. Think about, like, I don't know, MoMA dance. That kind of sound. You know, your basic porn funk type of sound. Or what about Birds of a Feather? You get that kind of sound. Next up is our first pitch pedal. Whammy was frequency, and I showed you on this chart in the upper right hand corner like the order that I've learned along the way to go in to get just a great sound out of your pedals. Next up, so frequency, now pitch. This whammy pedal is actually controlled by this MIDI baby up here, and you can preset as many as you want settings on that, so you don't have to use this dial here, kind of go through stuff. Yeah. Because that goes to that side. I only use about 5 settings on this side most of the time, especially when I was in a fish tribute. What's really cool about it, is that it turns the pedal on and it goes to one of the 5 and cycles through one of the 5 that you've pre-selected. I love that pedal very much. So this is giving me a pitch scoop. This is down a major second, so you can get that kind of whale call sound. Not that he would use that on Bathtub Gin, but you know, it's a... I use it for my octave pedal. I don't even have an octave pedal anymore. So that right there is my whammy, Digitech whammy pedal. And yeah, great pedal, very versatile, and I love it. It's great. I like to mix it with some distortion or overdrive and the wah when it's on the low octave sound there, to try to mimic that kind of Trey sound that we get. Actually, I'll throw on an overdrive, the wah pedal, and put on the down 1 octave and show you the sound. You know, use it on like Back on the Train. You know, to get that kind of sound. Fun little combinations. All right, speaking of overdrive, let's move over here and move the camera just a little bit. And it's a bit wonky of a pedal board. I don't need things nice and neat down there at my feet. The first pedal, which is upside down, is this J Rocket Audio Design Blue Note. It's what they call a transparent overdrive pedal. If you don't know what those are, I think they're pretty fantastic. I leave it on all the time for my clean tone. Here's with my full humbucker, volume and treble all the way up. It sounds pretty clean, but there's a little bit of overdrive on there. If I take it off, it's even brighter. So it just gives it a bit of color and warmth, and the tiniest bit of grit. I wouldn't even say grit, it's just gives it this warm, transparent sound. And I do leave that on all the time nowadays because I love it so much. Next is my Analog Man TS9 with the 808 chip, I believe. Shout out to my student Brian in Colorado who traded me this pedal for lessons. I absolutely love it. This is that early 90s Trey sound. You get that. Right now I've got it as my full overdrive, which usually I put the light overdrive and then the full in order, but I switch between them. Next is a Maxon chip that I got at a local music store here. Keep moving this over as we go over to the left of the pedal. So it's this, I have this on kind of my light drive. Sometimes it's all the way down on the gain, and if I wanted to play like maybe a ocelot, or a bathtub gin. So 3 overdrives, rare that I'll put them all on. Maybe if I were like playing live and I wanted to go full humbuckers, bridge pickup, to get that real saturated, Carini type of sound. Or maybe even a chalk dust. Probably should have fed back a bit more at in a live setting, but because I keep my amp real low, and it's a really loud amp, we'll get to that in a second, I keep it quite low because it's at home. Okay, next up in the gain, compression, and overdrive setting, we've got our Ross OG compressor, the original Ross compressor from, the 70s, 80s? I don't know. But I scored one of these on, I think, Reverb. Maybe 5 years ago or so, and haven't looked back. I tried probably 6, 7, 8 different compressors looking for the right one, and this was it. This was what I was waiting for. It's not noisy, and it does exactly what I want it to do. Yeah, just a great pedal. I haven't tried any of the new compressors to do a shootout. I know some people have done shootouts of them. So I've heard, actually. I haven't seen any yet, but it just, squashes the sound and gives it, I think it warms up the tone a little bit as well. I do change the settings, so whatever settings you see on here, I think it's not the same for every pedal, even though you might buy the same, pedal. I think the settings can change with your guitar, with your playing style, with your amp, with your electric circuitry in your house. I think all those things are factors. Usually around unity for the volume. Sometimes I'll crank it to get more out of the output or out of the pedal, and then turn the amp down or the interface volume down. Sometimes I'll crank the sustain all the way up to 11, so to speak. But yeah, there's the compressor always on for the sound that I'm after, unless I'm like trying to maybe do something, like once in a while I'll have a student do a lesson for like Led Zeppelin or Van Halen or something, and I might take off the compressor for the kind of heavy guitar stuff, if I remember, that is. But always on, love the sound. Jam band classic. All right, next is this very cheap Donner, because that's my favorite person in the world's last name. Donner gate pedal, just a real cheap $20 or $30 gate pedal. And I just use that to kind of suppress noise, unwanted noise, or unwanted feedback, like when I'm making videos or giving lessons. And not sure if I would use it so much if I was playing live. But yeah, and you don't want to turn it up too high because it can definitely affect your signal. But that always on as well. Next is my TC Electronic Polytune tuner. Pretty straightforward. Get a tuner. Make sure your guitar's in tune. Like Trey says, the snarks work great as well. I've also got one of those, and I use that more so on my acoustic instruments. But sometimes when I'm checking the intonation of my electric after restringing it, I'll use both tuners to just kind of double confirm. So that's it for the gain compression overdrive and then the tuner. And then the tuner goes back down here. It's kind of a cockamamie setup, I guess. The tuner goes back down here, and the reason for that is for my time delay and loop pedals, I wanted these closer to my feet because I used them more with the feet. The other pedals, overdrives, I kind of keep on or for a while after hitting them. Definitely the compressor and the gate and the tuner, those can stay off or stay on. And the wah, whammy, and then all the times and delays I manipulate more with my feet. So I wanted them at the bottom of the board here. Another trade from my friend and student Brian in Colorado was this Supapus analog delay. Just your basic analog delay pedal. I think Trey used one of these at some point. I'm not sure if he does anymore. Got these cool settings like dotted eighth, triplet eighth. Right. 16th. Great delay pedal. Next up is this freeze pedal. And turn it up a little bit. This is probably my newest pedal on the board. You can do this thing. I always have it on the latch setting, that little mini switch all the way down. If I wanted to practice a new scale or any scale, or just work an old scale, I would hit the pedal while playing a chord, and it freezes it for me. Hopefully you can hear that. And this kind of reminds me of college when I would play in the practice room in music school, and I would hit a piano chord and hit the sustain pedal with my feet so I could practice a scale or an arpeggio over top of it. So I'll freeze a D minor 9, and it freezes it. Kind of sounds like an organ almost. And maybe I would, workshop a little bit of Dorian on top of that. And it'll just go forever like that. It's kind of like this instantaneous recording. Yeah, it's nice. I've actually used it on a song that I've been recording for the past few months as this kind of, effect kind of sound where sounds are just droning out. And last, it's certainly not least, is the Line 6 DL4. I only use it for the looping setting. It has all these delays on it, and I keep everything down except for the mix, and I have it on loop sampler. So I use this exclusively for the looping aspect. Say I wanted to, gin on there. Right, I'm not playing anymore. As you can see, my hands are now free. I'm going to put on my whammy and add a little bass line. Right, get a little loop. I'm going to put on the whammy and get the siren sound. Right, and now that's looped on there. And nope, I'm not playing anything. And then I can, jam on top of it. Cool settings like you play it once and it'll stop it. Right? It has settings where you can play it at half speed. Right? You can play it in reverse if you hit it twice. Pretty cool. Or you can tap it again to go reverse and at half speed. Anyway, those are my pedals. And finally, the last thing I wanted to say about this Line 6, you can see there are two cables coming out of the output, left and right. And that's because I have one going to my amp and one going to my interface. And I think that's a great segue into the next section. So I'm going to back out of this camera. I hope you enjoyed the white dog hair on the dark carpet. Here we go. Hey, so I just got done editing part one, well, what is now part one of the Rig Rundown series. It was like 20 minutes. I didn't think it was going to be that long, but apparently I talk a lot. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And next week, I will release part two, and we'll get into things like my amps, interface, computer, speakers, acoustic instruments, things like that. And we should be able to do this in 2 parts. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and take care.